Hey guys, WLJK back. First, apologize for not having such a gap between this episode 23 and the previous episode 22. But first, let's start off with the question. Anton Agnarsson 17, which, by the way, thank you for mentioning this. He said he can call me Tony, so that's what I'm going to do from now on. So Tony asked, favorite movie, only choose one. So, while we explain this, we're going to turn around and build our my favorite part of the castle, the magician's, the wizard's room. So anyway, favorite movie of all time? That's a good question. Or favorite movie, and I can only choose one. That's a real good question. Mainly because I don't have one favorite movie. And yes, I use our new wonderful lights. There's just a redstone torch behind them. So, what can I say about favorite movie? I admit you got me on that one. That one is tricky because I don't really have just a favorite. Let's put it this way. I like all movies. I give all movies a shot. No, I forgot to grab brewing stands. Well, let's work by process elimination here, and let's narrow it down. We'll go by genre first. Favorite genre of movie, and where the heck is the brewing stands? There they are. My favorite genre would have to be sci-fi fantasy. Yeah, I would have to say that would probably be my favorite genre of movie. With that being said, narrowing it down in that field, that's tough because there's so many good ones. I mean, you got classics like 2001. You got oh, jeez, what else do you got? There are just so many of them. It's ridiculous. See, classics like 2001. You got, Blade Runner. You got, of course, the obligatory Star Wars and Star Trek. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. That's what I was going for. Oh, that ain't gonna work. You got me on that one. I mean, back in the day, my favorite was probably, I forgot to put the workbench in. It was probably along the lines of like Blade Runner and Star Trek back in the day. Now, when I say back in the day, I mean like the 80s, the late 70s when I grew up. But I was a kid then, and that was like way over the top for me. One of my favorites when I was growing up was The Hobbit. Now, I'm not talking about the new Peter Jackson version. I'm talking about the original animated version. I think that'll work pretty good. You know what? Let's do this. I need to get my redstone torch back. And then it came up to others. I even got into liking the genre of like sci-fi thriller. Like Alien and Predator and others like that. I don't think I need all these torches now. There we go. That works pretty good. I like how that shines up on that. And then you got into the 90s, and you had other, you had Terminators. Well, those started out in the 80s also, but you get Terminators. And, oh, jeez. That's a tough one. Let's see, what else was there? There were just, here's in case you're wondering, I'll give you the quick tour as we leave. Matter of fact, actually, you know what? I'm going to wait for the quick tour. I'm going to show it later, because I'm going to show it with a different texture pack and see what you guys think. But yeah, it's like, it's hard to pick a movie. I mean, like I said, in the 70s, I liked the Lord of the Ring animated movie, The Hobbit. And then it came to, the 80s was Terminator and Aliens in 2001 for me. Blade Runner, Star Trek, Star Wars. Then the 90s came more Star Wars, and 2010 and all that. And then, and the first Transformer movie, the animated movie, was in the 80s. And, modern day stuff, I would have to say probably the new Transformers, a handful of others I can't even think off the top of my head. There's been so many. One set of movies I used to like in the horror thriller category was, a lot of people think Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween. Nah, I liked Hellraiser. I liked Hellraiser up until they came out with Hellraiser Hellworld, and that was stupid. I haven't seen the new one yet. They supposedly rebooted the series and whatnot, so but out of all that, if I have to pick one, if I had to pick one, I would probably pick, believe it or not, this is an old classic, I'd have to pick 2001: Space Odyssey. Mainly because you go and look at the stuff they had that Stanley Kubrick thought about back then. Look how much of it's happened now. I mean, now we got space planes, even though they're private sector now. Well, soon to be commercial. Just the technology back then, the idea of computers thinking for themselves. And, the HAL 9000, you got computers now with artificial intelligence. So, yeah, I would have to say classic 2001: Space Odyssey. But anyway, that's it for this episode. When we come back, I'm going to answer another question, which is along the same lines of this, but it's going to be a little trickier to answer. Well, not as tricky to answer, but I'll go into a list of things in that one. So, yeah. So, this has been WLJK. I'll see you in the next episode.